Alrighty, so out of the gate, this is going to be a spoiler-free review of the first world in the game, that being Olympus Coliseum. Now, the reason I'm doing Olympus rather than, say, like Arendelle or Corona is because those are further in, and we already know what Olympus is going to be about. We already know that it's going to be the movie with some original story aspects in there. But I'm not going to spoil the story, I'm more going to talk about how I liked the game, how much I liked the combat, what I liked about each area so far. Olympus is a pretty interesting case because it's so unique, but at the same time, it's also really, really safe. And that's to be expected from a tutorial. Now, you don't even get to fly to Olympus. You don't get to walk around Traverse Town, Mysterious Tower, nothing. You just boot up the game, watch a little bit of cutscenes, play the tutorial, get the story stuff, and then you're, boom, thrown right into Olympus's story. Like, not even like a cutscene in between them. Just you end the tutorial, go to Yensid, have a conversation, and head straight into the story of Olympus. Not even a gummy ship mission to explain that ahead of time. That's not a bad thing. I actually don't mind that. Combat's really fun. I loved everything. I loved the magic when you get, the first couple spells you get is like fire and water, and those are really fun to use. Water is a little more intuitive to use because, actually, water requires a little bit of thought because it's a swirl around you and then it splashes. So it's a delayed projectile, so you have to kind of line up the shot. And I like that. It's very good. It's a good evolution of the magic system. You don't get the new outfit for Sora until after you beat Olympus, which I think is kind of cool. It lets you revel in the old outfit for a while. You also get to test out the Kingdom Keys transformation, which is second form, which gives you the combos of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 kind of together. Like, you get Stun Impact as a finisher, and one of your combo enders is that giant ball attack that I can't remember what it's called from Kingdom Hearts 1. I'll put it on screen, you'll see what I'm talking about. Another thing that happens is that as you progress, a lot of Keyblades had transformations. The Kingdom Key doesn't transform, because why would it? But what it does do is that if you get more combos, if you get those 3 arrows complete and you have second form started, what will happen is that it'll change Stun Impact to Sonic Blade and then RSR Cannon. Now, that's actually really cool. I like that. I still use the Kingdom Key later in the game. I've gotten about halfway through the game at this point. I'm recording this on Thursday, for those of you who are curious. I got the game Monday night. I played through all of Olympus with my friend. I'll touch on how my friend reacted to this later, but like, I played all of Olympus in one night. It was really fun. I didn't mind anything too bad. I'm gonna do a more in-depth review later on, say towards the end of February, so that way I have all the time to collect my thoughts, do a second playthrough if I want, you know, just kind of get everything figured out. But again, these are just my initial thoughts. Olympus is very, very good. I love it. It's a good place. I want to say it's a little barren in comparison to a lot of other places. Like, it's the most real, which is funny considering the movie it came from, but it's a town, it's thriving, but there are people you can go talk to. I like that. It's very bustling, it's very good. It's not the kind of bustling from the film, but it's very, very well handled. I like that. It's very good. One thing that did kind of piss me off was that in this game, unlike past Kingdom Hearts games where you go to a cutscene and then it fades into black and then you're just in the game, no, this one does that thing where it's a cutscene and then the camera from the cutscene pans around to behind Sora so you can begin gameplay. The first thing I wanted to do when that happened was I wanted to go and see what was behind me. What area did I come from? Like, they walked from somewhere. What happened? The game told me no. It flat out told me no. There's no rocks there, there's nothing, it's just the game said no, you can't go there. And that bothered me. Now, I understand why, now that I played it, because it's saying, oh, that's later on in the story, you don't want to go there yet. It's a way to gate it in a way that doesn't feel stupid, but it ended up feeling stupid in the moment because I didn't know what was going on. So I was just like, what's going on? It was an invisible wall, but it wasn't like a shimmer wall that happens in battles. It was just nothing was there, I just couldn't walk past this barrier thing. And Donald and Goofy were like, oh, we can't go that way, we have to go this way. And that kind of bothered me, but it is understandable now that I know what's happening beyond that wall. But as an initial thing, it just kind of irked me. I did notice a couple problems with Hercules. Hercules' AI is very well programmed, but there's this one attack where he spins a rock, and I don't know about anyone else's PlayStation, but mine, I actually played this game on both a PS4 and then a PS4 Pro a day later because I ordered the Pro bundle. I was one of the few lucky ones to actually receive and keep my order. I'm sorry for those you couldn't keep it, but I'm just saying I have experienced Olympus in both standard and HD in a PlayStation Standard and a PS4 Pro. So I understand the difference. I've seen the difference. In the regular PS4, it was really choppy. Like the game runs at about 60 to 55 frames per second. It runs really, really smooth. But this attack, this rock spin, it jumped straight down to like 20, like it wasn't finished correctly. I don't know what was going on with this thing, but it just didn't work. It was bad. It's fixed in the PS4 Pro a little bit. It's gone down to about 45, which still runs pretty smooth, but you can see the dips frame rate from his other animations, because his run animation, his attack animation, the limit he can do with Sora, all of that stuff is really smooth, which I think is weird. Speaking of limits, I really like the limit system in this game a lot better than Kingdom Hearts 2, because Kingdom Hearts 2 had it so that it's part of your magic system, and now the limits are its own resource that I like using. I'll actually go with a limit more often than a regular combo because limits are more fun now. They're a lot more interesting to use, a lot more fun to work with. One limit Herc does is that he takes Sora by the ankles and spins him around, and that's a really cool one. And then you control Hercules like a top for a while, and then you push triangle, and Sora launches in the air, and then he drops. And that's a really cool one. Goofy, this was in the orchestra trailer a lot. It was the one where Goofy and Sora shoot up in the air, and then Sora throws Goofy at the ground. That's a cool one. The discount duck flare, the fire flare, whatever it's called in this game, is a really good one. The limits are really good. They're really interesting. They're really cool to use. Oddly enough, I haven't tried Lynx yet. I've done the Meow Wow a couple times, but I haven't really done the Wreck-It Ralph or the Lion Simba yet. I haven't tried those yet because it's just, I haven't wanted to. I honestly could have, but the Meow Wow, the one you get first, is pretty interesting. It's pretty cool. But I do like the fact that limits can just be summoned and then use a finisher and then you're done. That's really cool in my mind because it's easy to just do a big fuck you attack and be done with it. Because unlike in Kingdom Hearts 2, where it had a setup and you had to do combos before it could be unleashed, this one is a lot more fun because it gives you a lot more interesting stuff to deal with. It's good. I like it. Keyblades are good. Keyblades are all good. If you guys saw the trailers or saw anything going on with Toy Story or anything like that, I have played till the middle of the game. It's really good. All the characters are good. My favorite Keyblade so far in the game is Favorite Deputy. For those of you who don't know, the one we all called Infinity Badge is now confirmed to be called Favorite Deputy, and it's a really, really good one, and it's probably my favorite, but then again, I have a giant fetish for hammers, so Favorite Deputy turning into Hyper Hammer is just a 10 out of 10 experience. It's my favorite transformation. There are other good ones. I tried out every Keyblade in the game. For those of you who got the Starlight Keyblade from the Union Cross event they were doing, it's essentially just the Kingdom Key, but with a slight boost of magic, but the form change is still the same. It just chucks you in the second form, but it's called Second Form S or Second Form 5. I don't know why it's called S. I don't know what that does. I played with both of them. Like, that's the interesting. I came into the game with two Keyblades already, the Kingdom Key and the Starlight, so that was kind of a weird thing. They were both essentially the same form, but I think the Starlight was a little more powerful, but just by a smidgen. I will say that the sound the Starlight makes is very, very satisfying. Also, that's another interesting thing to note. Every Keyblade has a very distinct sound they make when they're attacking. That's kind of cool to me. I love the fact that I can sit there and go, oh, this is what's going on. This is the Keyblade I have equipped. The form switching is super cool. I like that you can store a form in the middle of a combo. It's really fun. It's really interesting. Again, if you're someone like me who did the Starlight Challenge, switching between the two of them in Olympus, where I essentially had two different second forms, was really fun to choose from because it was just easier for me to go from like Starlight to Kingdom Key and then second form to back to Starlight so that I could, save the second form for the combo. It was really good, and I like the fact that you're able to do that. We go to Olympus in this one. Spoilers. I mean, it's not really a spoiler, kind of, because, we've seen Olympus in the trailers, we've seen all this crap, and again, it's the movie. You go to Olympus in the movie. It was really good. It was what I thought Olympus looked like from the film. I thought it was a good adaptation. Nothing really is bad about this. It's just a little wonky. There are some things that just kind of killed me about the actual story, and I'm not talking like spoiler stuff, but like, so I'm gonna bring this back to my friend and I. We were sitting on the bed, and every 5 seconds I had to explain who someone was or what was going on for the scene to make sense. Because he was like, "Who's that? What's going on? What does that mean? La 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 la." And that was my fear about this game for newcomers. As I said Monday and last Friday and even Saturday, that this game is not for newcomers, and they try to dumb everything down. When I mean dumb down, I don't mean like they're making everything stupider, but they kind of had to explain everything again. But if you're someone like me who's played every game in the series, it becomes redundant. And there are certain points later on in the game, several times where they'll do this, where they'll just have Sora's character be restated to each other, like they're explaining it to the audience. And I'm like, but we already know this. This is supposed to happen directly after Dream Drop Distance, where Sora is nice to everybody, and Kingdom Hearts 2, where Sora is the most precious good boy ever, where most of us fell in love with him. There's a lot of things going on that just kind of make me go, why is this? Why are we doing this? What's going on here? What is the point? Why does it keep doing this? And that was my big fear, and they're kind of doing it, but it's not a bad thing. I understand why they're doing it. It's, again, marketed to newcomers. However, I am afraid that that newcomer status is going to be the hill this fucking game dies on. It's bad in the sense that it's really annoying for someone who's played this before, but if you're a newcomer, it's good to get this stuff up front. I just really wish they hadn't. I just really wish they hadn't done this. But yeah, for a tutorial, Olympus Coliseum, in my mind, gets 10 out of 10. And I don't mean that as a perfect score. It is, to me, it's a perfect tutorial. Now, when I say it gets a 10 out of 10, I don't mean that in like, oh, it's a perfect experience. No, it's not. It's the appropriate amount of clunky and awkward for the beginning of the game. It's going to railroad you a little bit and teach you about everything as best it can. That's a good thing. I don't hate that. I don't begrudge the game for that. As a tutorial, Olympus Coliseum is a 10 out of 10. As a story, it's about a 9.5 out of 10. Why is it 9.5 out of 10? It's kind of hard to explain without going into spoilers, but if you played it, you'll understand. Also, just so you guys are wondering, if you guys care at all, but there are certain people in this game they couldn't get back to voice characters, and one of them is Danny DeVito. Like, Phil just doesn't talk at all. He's in like one scene and then just nods. He's not even an NPC because every NPC has dialogue. If you go to an NPC and you hit triangle to talk to them, like Meg has dialogue, Hercules has dialogue. Well, he's in your party, so he has dialogue anyway, but random people in Thieves, Zeus has dialogue. Phil? No, just no fucking dialogue. I don't know why. It's so weird. Like, oh my gosh, it's bizarre. That's a little awkward, and it honestly made me chuckle with my friend when we were playing it, but it's so weird. But yeah, it's a good game for newcomers. It's a good game for old people. My biggest fear is that people who haven't played the games before are going to jump in and go, oh, this is all stupid. No, it makes sense if you understand the story and you're paying attention. You can't turn your brain off during the cutscenes, because the cutscenes are very plot important things. That's why they're there. The Disney World cutscenes, you can turn your brain off for those. I think, unless there's a person in a black coat, turn your brain off. It doesn't matter. Like, you can just turn your brain off and have fun if you want to do that. But if there's a person in a black coat, pay attention, because that's the important part. In the Disney World, at least, every cutscene outside of the Disney Worlds is somewhat relevant to the plot. It's just the way this game works. Again, Olympus, 10 out of 10. I would play again, but you just gotta know what you get into. This isn't the most positive sounding review, but it is a positive review. I won't give myself that much that I'm sitting here giving the game its props. I could have been negative and just said it's the worst game of all time, but no, it's a pretty good game. It's halfway through, I'm finding gripes with it, but that's for next time. My name is Chris, and I gotta go. My hyper hammer's calling me.